start from where we stopped yesterday. So yesterday we are trying to create some of the components we needed and some of the interactive components that we also need. So we've created this one for button, we created for input field, we did for radio button, and we did for check button. So we did some interaction which we actually test them out. So I'm going to take this out. So we did some interaction which we actually test them. So we try to, some interactions here. Okay, so we did some of the interactions here, and we did for the header. So we actually did this pattern and we did this pattern. So we end up choosing this pattern, and we test out what we've done so far, and then we've started design. So there's no I'm sorry about this. It's about to rain heavily here, so I don't know from your own end, but just know that we're going to have a little bit of thunder noise. So we are going to do some of the important interactions, component interactions that we need, or interactive components that we need in our design. We love us to actually design a full landing page, but we have a limited time, and I don't want to rush. So we're going to create all the components that we need for our landing page, and then we'll design and come down and design it in our interactive class. So like I said, when choosing your icon, you need a particular collection of icons for your, like a particular set or collection for your icon. So if you're going with which icon, know that you're going with which icon. If you're going with, feather icon, know you're going with feather icon. So I taught you guys how to select your icon from Iconify. They have good numbers of icon set. You can call it icon set or collection of icons. So if you hear me say set, just know that it's like a package, like a pack, not a package, but a pack. But Iconify is like a package where if you pay for like where you have access to Iconify, you have different packs inside, and each pack you have different styles and pattern. You have the outline, you have the field. Now, like I said, I love which icon. I was using Material or Google Design icon before, but I started using which icon. But which icon they actually have a website where they have their collection, but they have limited number of like almost 5,000 icons are free. The remaining one, if you want to go deep into the other ones, you have to pay. But Iconify only gave us access to the free one. But if you want to use more of their premium icon, you have to pay for it. So I'm going to teach you guys, we're going to do all the interactive components that we need, and then we're going to use them in our next class, where I will have to calm down slowly and teach you how to design a web page. But for yesterday and today's class, we're just going to focus on interactive components. Now, somebody made a suggestion yesterday for card, and today we're also going to try out another one, FAQ. I know you've seen, let's see if this page has it, where you have to see FAQ. It will have the information. You click on this, where you have, we believe we all know what is FAQ, where we say what is CareerEx. You click on the plus or sign minus, you read, you close. We are going to do all that today. We're going to do both card interaction, like let's say a card interaction whereby having maybe let's say a title, the body text, and we're going to make it hover, where if your cursor just come, you can just hover or make an effect like that. So we're going to do all that today. So I'm going to increase this frame. So I'm going to increase this frame. So if I increase it, now let's do for card interaction. Now I have to get a measurement for this. So I'm going to increase my landing page. So I'm going to bring this back. And I believe you guys can see my screen, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm just going to expand my landing page this way. It doesn't matter the height of your landing page, but what really matters is the width and the grid that you're using. So the width is very, very important, of which we've implemented. I'm using desktop frame size for a larger screen. And I'm going to also show you the particular mobile frame size you're going to use. So the height doesn't matter at all, you get, but what actually matters is the width. So I'm going to use my rectangle to take measurements of how I want my card to be. So I want all my card to be in, I want them to be in three, like three. I want them three, like 1, 2, 3. That is what I want. So I'm just going to keep this here. So I'm going to use a rectangle to take the measurement of what I want. So I'm going to duplicate to this end. And I'm also going to duplicate to this end. So once I duplicate to this end, I think I'm okay with this. I think I'm okay with the height. So I'm just going to tidy them up. Or let's say so I'm going to check. So I can see that this is actually giving me 79. So it's actually crossed. So I'm going to take it here back and let's see. So this is giving me 79. So I'm going to click on this and move this one, and then I'm going to hold it. I think I'm okay. I love the size, like the width of my rectangle. So I'm just going to make this guy. It doesn't matter as long as you've gotten what you want. I think I'm okay with this size, but let's just make it 450. So it's just for it to be a bit long. I think I'm okay like this. So I'm just going to pick one. So I'm going to pick one. Now I want everything I'm designing to be inside this rectangle, but I'm going to take it. Remember, we are designing everything in auto layout. So let's design our card. So I'm going to design put an information here. Like everything I'm going to do is going to be inside this rectangle. So I'm going to reduce this opacity. So I'll reduce the opacity like this. I'm not in the rectangle to do anything. I only just want to, do some card interactions for it. So I'm going to add my title text here. So let's call this, so let's just use the word, so I'm just putting a random word. So once I start designing, I'm going to change the content. But for now, I'm just using a random word. So let's say easy way to withdraw your money. So I'm going to put, yeah, I would love to, let's make all this small letter. So I already have my um local, I've already have my local text guy. So I'm just going to select the one I'm going to use. So I won't be using 18. So okay, just give me a second. Let me arrange it. These are too scattered. So I'm going to arrange it. So I'm going to click out. So let's click out and then arrange it. Let's arrange it according to, so we have 26, we have 18, and we have 18. So this is going to be under here. We have 16 regular, we have this. So 14, so we have 14 regular. So 14 regular is going to be under 16 medium. So this is going to come here. So the next one we have is this and then 10. So we've arranged it 26, 18, 18, 16, 16, 14, 14. So it will not be, confusing when looking for it. So I'm going to come back to my text here. So I'll be using 26. So I'll be using 26. If I'm not comfortable with 26 size, so I'm going to change it. So I think I'm comfortable with this 26. So I'm going to use my black color. So I'll be using my color for it. So I'm just going to bring this text inside this box. Like I said, I'm not using this box for anything. I'm only just using it for measurements. So whatever I'm going to do, whatever the card I'm going to design, is just going to be inside this box. So remember, I'm not using it to do anything. I'm just only making sure that everything I'm designing is inside the box. So I think I love this size. So I'm just going to, easy way to withdraw your money. So I'm just going to, place it at the center. So I'll come to this place and then make it at the center. I'll hold this box and then align to at the center. So once I align this at the center, automatically is at the center. So I'm going to duplicate this here. So I'm just going to use a dummy text for now. So once I start placing that inside my landing page, I will automatically give it a few information, not a dummy text. So for now, I'm just going to use a dummy text. So I'm going to change this color to gray one. So I'm Can you guys hear me? I got disconnected for a while. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
hear you now?
Yes.
I'm sorry. There's no network in my Airtel, so I had to switch with my mobile data, and now I'm getting calls and all. So sorry. I put my phone on DND, so I won't receive any call. So I'm going to just use a dummy text, but when I start placing my card in my landing page, automatically I'm not going to use any dummy text. But since I just want to create an interactive card, I'm just going to use a dummy text. But once we start designing our real landing page, we won't use dummy text. We'll have to use maybe ChatGPT to generate content for us, or we can just create content by ourselves. So I'm just going to place this dummy text here. So I'm going to place the dummy text here. Now I want to have something like a withdrawal, maybe a withdrawal icon or money icon, or just something that is going to be on top here. So I think I'm okay with this 16 here, and I've already placed it at the center, and this is also at the center. So I'm going to make them auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'm going to check in the center. So I'm going to place both of them to be at the center. So once I make it at the center, I'm going to make this one to be fill content. This is already actually in fill. I'm going to hold this, and this is actually in fill. So that when we are designing for when we want to design for the mobile, we don't have to start coming inside and start editing inside. All we just have to do is we're just going to just play around with the adjustments. We should just act responsive, because if you look at 413 is actually a big frame, and it is actually bigger than a mobile frame. So we're going to make everything to be responsive. So we've made this content or container or text in a fill container. So it's actually in a fill container, and then this one is actually in a fill container too. So we're going to hold this together. So we're going to hold both of them together. So both of them is going to show me hug content. Okay, it's in fixed, so we're going to make it in hug content. So if we make it in hug content, this is how it will be. But we're going to undo that and then leave it in fixed. So once we are done that, let's go and get an icon. We're going to put it. So it's either we use money or we use withdrawal. I think for I'm going to use a money icon. So let's go back to our iconify, our plugin. So I'm going to use money icon. So I will right click. So I'm going to right click. So I'm going to use my huge icon. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to come here. I'm going to look for huge icon. So it's either you come to this, either you go back to return to set icon here. Either you come to this place to scroll, or you just come here and search for money. So whichever way works for you. So when you search for money, now what you're going to do is, since I'm using huge icon, I will just come here and look for huge icon. So I'm going to look for huge icon. This is huge icons. So I'm going to click on it and then click out. So this is what I have. So I'm going to use this money bag, dollar. So I'm going to use this money bag. But I think I'm beginning to see other one. So maybe this is euros, this is okay, so let's just use this money bank. So I think I'm comfortable with this money bank. I'm just going to drag it and then drop it here. We know how to import icon from icon plugins to our file. So this is what I'm going to do. So this is actually looking so small. Remember, we are designing for a larger screen, and this is actually so small. So what I'm going to do is, so there are either way you can increase your icon. There are two ways you can increase your icon. The first is either you come to this place, come to this scale here, click on scale, and then type whatever you type, which is actually the best way. So I'm going to use, let's see, 50, double the size. So I think I'm liking 50. Okay, let's make it 60 and then see. So let's make it 60. Okay, I think I'm okay with 60, which is this. Or you come to this place and then play around with it and then pin this particular one here. So you pin this here. This is lock the asset ratio. But the best way I'm going to tell you to play around with your icon is just come to scale. So once you just go to scale, once you type the width, automatically the height is just going to respond. Like I said, there are some times you will import your icon. The width is actually going to have a different number from the height, or the height is actually going to have a larger number from the width. So the best way to play around with the size of your icon, you just click on the scale. So if you don't know where scale is, come to this place, click on scale. When you click on scale, or just type letter K on your keyboard, this is going to change. You just come here and then you type, which is the best way, not to tamper with the size or the pattern of your icon, not to make your icon look so stretchy, make it look so short, stuff like that. So this is the best way you're going to do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change this. Before I will change it to white, so I'm going to get I want to add something like the lighter shade of my blue, and then make this my main blue. So I'm going to come here, going to paste this. Is automatically going to give me 100. So I'm going to reduce the corner reduce by 50 to give me that circle. But you can actually go with your circle. But I think I'm always comfortable, or I don't know, I'm beginning to like using rectangle to create a circle kind of shape. That's, I don't know, there's a pattern you can do your own, but it doesn't mean that you have to use rectangle. So you can use the eclipse, the eclipse that you can, but I just feel using rectangle on my own side. So let's play around with these two. So I'm going to hold these two together, and then I'm going to place it at the center. So I'm going to place it at the center, and then I'm going to make it auto layout. So I'm going to add auto layouts. So either you use Shift A, or you just come right click this one. Now I've done this auto layout now, so I'm going to scroll down. So I'm going to scroll down to here. So I'm going to hold this black. So automatically this black is going to be my main blue, and then this other one is going to be the lighter shade of my blue. So I think this is okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring this, and then I'm going to add it here. Yes. So once I add it, automatically it's telling me it's at the center. So look at it, it's at the center. So this is an even number. This is an even number. So just giving this particular box is an even number. So that's why it's giving me 57 on this end and 56 on this end. So I think I'm okay with this. I'm going to hold the two of them, and then I'm going to make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I don't like this space between this text here, this thicker text here, and this. I don't like the space. It's giving me the same spacing here. So I'm going to go back and hold these two. So once I hold this, I'm going to reduce it here. You know how to reduce. Either you come to this reduce, or you just come to this place to reduce. So I'm going to reduce it here by 3. So this is going to be 20. Then I'm going to hold this and then make it by 40. So this is what I want. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out this rectangle. So before I will take out this rectangle, I already know the size. So what I'm using is I need is 413, 450. So I'm going to hold this. So I'm going to make it 413. So I'm going, now you can see that if I'm increasing it, you can see that it's actually responding. So this is 450, right? 450. Yeah, you can see that it has actually the width actually responded immediately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this now at the center here. So I'll just come here and place it at the center. So once I place it at the center, now I need padding between them. So I need the padding. I need this padding, especially this place. I need this padding. So here is giving me 0, and here is giving me 0. So what I'm going to do now, this is the left and right padding, which is horizontal padding, and the up and down is vertical padding. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to make it. Let's use 100. If you make it 100, this is what happens. So 100 is actually too much. So I'm going to make it 50. So once I make it 50, I think I'm okay with 50. And then I'm going to make the vertical same 50. Now this is it. So this is what we have. We have 50 here, we have 50 here, we have 50 here. So now let's take out this rectangle we use for our measurements. So let me give it a thick color first. So I'm going to give this like a white color. Let's give it a white color. Okay, let's give it let's give it let's give it another color so that you can just see what I'm doing. So even if I expand this now like this now, you can see that it is responsive. You can see that it is responsive. But if you use grouping or framing, you use your hand and start adjusting those text icon, everything. You start adjusting it by yourself. But once you just use auto layout and just make sure you place them in the right setting, you don't even need to stress yourself. Like when you're designing the mobile responsiveness, you don't even need you don't need to stress yourself. All you just have to do is just to reduce it into the normal size you want, and then you're good to go. You get now. You can see that I have reduced it now, which is actually this is like a tiny phone frame. We can see that this is actually one we want. So I'm just going to come here and manually type the size that we want. So we're using 413 for the web. So I'm going to change this color to white. So this is going to be white. So I'm going to give it, I'm going to make it, so I'm going to name this as card 1. So this is going to be card 1. Let's call it card 1. So I'm going to let's make it I'm going to give it a corner radius. Let's say corner radius of 5. So let's give it corner radius of 5, and I think I'm okay with this. So I'm going to make it a component. So let's not make it too flat. Let's add a drop shadow. Let's not make it too flat, because right now, even adding the background color, which is, and if you're designing on a white frame, it's just going to be very flat. Our card is going to be very flat, but we don't want our card to be very flat. So I'm just going to come here and give it an effect, drop shadow. So I'm going to click here, add effect. So once I add effect, you will see that the default setting will just come out. For people that actually know, play around with effect on their assignments, you see that if I click out now, you see that we have an effect that shows that the card is not on top somewhere. But I don't like this setting. I don't like this part, this default setting that Figma gave to us. So I'm going to, play around with my own settings. So I'm going to click on this button here. So I'm going to click on these settings here. So this is Y and this is X. So the Y is 4, the X is 0. Y is done and the X is 0. So I'm going to play around with it. So I'll use 6. So the blur is going to be 6. Yes. And then I'm going to play around with the opacity. So I will use black. I'll just take it up a little like this. So I'm going to give my X, let me give my X 4. So it won't look like the card is just flat there. So let's click out and see what we've achieved. But if I'm not okay with that, I'm going to put the drop shadow to go around the card. Okay, I think I'm not okay with it because here and here is actually missing. So I'm going to make my card, like I'm going to put the opacity to spread all over. So I'm going to come to my settings here. So I'm going to put my it's only me supported for only components when okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add another drop shadow. So I'm going to add another drop shadow, and then this time around I'm going to use minus for the same settings. So I'm going to add another drop shadow. So this time around I will use -4, and then here I will use -6 to reflect on the other side. And here I used for the blur. What did I use on the blur? So for the blur I use 6, and I'm going to copy this color code. So I'm just going to copy this color code and so it will just reflect in the other side. Now this, let's click out and see. Let's click out and see. Now this is what we've achieved. This is what we achieved. But now let's play around with the opacity. Like let's play around with the blur. So I'm going to play around with this blur. So I'm going to use 10 for the blur. So here I'm going to use 10, and this I'm going to use 10. Then I'm going to use 15 for the color. So I'm going to reduce the opacity to 15, and I'm going to also reduce this to 15. So let's go. I think I'm okay with this, with what I'm seeing. So I think I'm okay with this. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. So it will look like it just the card is just flat there. So this is what I have, and I think I'm okay with this. So I'm going to make this a component. So I'm going to make this a component. So what I want now, what I want in my effect to happen, what I want that to look like is. So the kind of effect that for my card is over event, but in this over event, I want it if. Sorry, let me plug my laptop. So the kind of effect I want is an over effect that if my cursor come close to the card, it's actually going to have this over effect, but it's going to change color. So that is what I want, and that is what I'm going to do next. So I've gotten what I want for my card. I've gotten everything. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a component. So I'm going to make it a component here. So once I make it a component, I'm going to add variant. So once I add variants, this is how it's going to look like. So this is how it's going to look like. Now, this the kind of effect I want. Like I said, it's an over effect, but this time around, my over effect should be able to change the card color. So now I'm going to change the color. So the color is going to be this card color is no longer going to be white. It's going to be blue. I'm going to change this to blue. So once I change this to blue, now I'm going to change the, I think I'm okay with this. So I'm going to change all the specs to white. So I'm going to come here, change to white. Then I'm going to come here, change to the gray 4. Yeah, I'm going to change to gray 4 because I don't want to use white, white, white like that. So this is going to be white. So this is going to be white. So this is what I have. I'm going to click out to see the effect, the blur effect. So now the effect now I'm going to do is I want this card to like come up very well. So I'm going to play around with my effect color. So I'm going to go back. So I'm going to play around with my drop shadow. So let's make this 20. So I'm going to pick this color code and I'm going to make this 30. So I'm going to apply the same thing. Sorry, to look like see it went round. So I need to, it's giving this, the darkness is too much. So I'm just going to play around with it. So I'm going to reduce the opacity. So let's reduce the opacity. So if you look at it, it's too dark. So I'm going to reduce the opacity by 20. And I'm going to make this by 15. Okay, I think this is better. This is better. So I'm just going to increase this a little. And I'm also going to hold this. I just want my prototype line to show. So I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to call this colored. And I'm going to call this white. So I'm going to scroll. So this is already card. This is card 1. So this is already card. The name is already card. So let's do the prototype for it. Eyes. So let's do prototype for it. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to just drag it here. So my settings is going to be Y hovering. So the setting is actually done. So I'm just going to drag it up. So I'm going to click on trigger. So how do I want it to work? I want it to, the trigger, I want the trigger to just be Y hovering. Sorry, not Y pressing. Y hovering. So this is what I want. So I'm just going to take this out. So I'm going to take this out. So I'll return back to my design. So I'm going to pick one card. Okay. Let's just take it to the hero section, but it's not going to be in the hero section. Let's just take it to this point here. Yeah, let's take it to this point here. So I'm just going to prototype this. Okay, so I'm going to set this. So if you watch, you see that it's actually not set. So I'm going to click here, fit to it, come here. Then I'm going to hide. I want to hide this headers here. So I'm just going to click on hide. So this is what we have. So now I noticed something yesterday while looking at this header. I noticed that our header is just flat. It doesn't have any drop shadow light. It just to show that it's actually on top. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit, and this is what I want. So I want to achieve something like, you can see that my cursor just come on it and it just hover like this. So you can just, instead of making it instant, so let's go back to this prototype here, and let's, instead of just making it to be you touch the act, touch an act. So let's just see if we can, do something out, like maybe gentle, bounce instead of just using the instant. So let's say smart animate. Let's see the outcome of what it gives. I don't think this is better. It's giving plenty colors. Use Gen 2. I think I like the Gen 2, but the time. Let's use 300 milliseconds. I think I'm okay with this. So I think I'm okay with this Gen 2. And remember I said the lower the time, the faster it becomes. The higher the time, the slower it becomes. Please always remember that. So I think I'm okay with this. I think I like this. Yeah, I think I like this. Now, if I now you can see that I'm scrolling and it doesn't show that this is actually on top. It shows that our header is just flat. This was what we did yesterday, remember, right? So this is what we did yesterday. So I noticed that our header is just flat. Even on top this card, it's just flat. So let's go back and touch our header to make it look as if it's on top of the landing page. So let's go back. So let's just the same drop shadow, but this time around we're working with only Y and then blur and then reduce the opacity. You're going to go with, so I'm just going to click on effects. So the effect that comes out is the drop shadow. So this is, I'm working with this. I'm just going to play around with this. I'm going to make it 6 and I'm going to reduce the opacity by 10. So it's going to be 15. So I'll use 15. So let's see the outcome work. Yeah, so this is what happens, but I think I need to play around with it. I need to increase the blur. Like I need to increase blur. So I'm just going to come back here. I'm going to make this blur. Okay, let's make the Y first 2. Let's see what it becomes. And then I think I'm okay with this. Then I'm going to increase the blur by 10. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, this is okay. So I'm going to take this opacity from 000, just take it a little bit from the black to maybe something like gray. And then let's see. Load. I think this is okay. So this is okay. Yeah. I think I'm okay with this. This is the outcome. So I think I'm okay. Not to make our header just to look, flat, like flat. So you now know that header is actually on top. So this is what we have. So we created this yesterday for people that are not in class today. So this was created yesterday, and soonest the video will be available on YouTube. So this is how to create a card. So we've created a card which we are going to use in our design next week. So now this FAQ thing that they normally design here. So we are going to design that for the landing page. FAQ, frequently asked questions concerning Piggyverse. But remember, we are not replicating Piggyverse landing page. We are going to create something our own landing page, but not a full landing page. And we just only had to borrow Piggyverse logo just for me to show you how to create a header using auto layout. Remember, right? So we're going to create those FAQ, like FAQ, those cards, those sections for FAQ. So we're going to create them. We're going to make our component, like I said, very interactive, so that when we start designing the landing page, like I said, I don't want to rush it. When we start designing our landing page, we'll just have to just pick our interactions that we've done and then start placing it in our landing page, which is actually going to make our work much very, very easier. But when you're creating your components, your style guide, your interactive component, it's actually going to take time. Okay, so let's create for FAQ. So I'm going to move this one side. So I'm going to move this one side here. Before we create that FAQ interaction, I think I promised you guys I'm going to create for input field, right? So let's create for input field before we create the FAQ. Now let's do for the input field. Now remember I said these are the display of your components and these are the interactive components. So when you're creating your style guide for a project, what you need to do, you already have the color palette. You already have your color styles here, which is just going to be a display. So the next thing you're going to do, you're going to drop. I'm teaching you how to create a style guide for your project. Once you create your color styles or color palettes, whatever name you want to give it, as long as there's color in it, no problem. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to design your display components. All the things you're going to use more than once on your display on a frame. You can use a dummy frame, you can use from desktop frame. You're going to have your display components. Now I already have a display component for my button. Now I already have a display of all the input I'm going to use. For example, yeah, all the input I'm going to use is a mobile or is a web. I have it displayed here. The active, disabled, typing, display type, done typing, error, success, close eye for password and open eye for password. I think I did not add search bar here. So we are going to do some interactions. So I don't know if I still have those here. So we're going to do some interactions like this. So we're going to do some interactions like this, where you see that you take out this, or this. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So now let's do input field before we move to the FAQ, which is going to be the last. So we're going to recreate another, we're going to create another input field from scratch for people that did not join the class or people that did not get how to do that. So first thing first is I'm going to borrow this eye, because that eye I saw yesterday was kind of scary. For some of them were bombastic side eye. So I'm just going to take this side eye, this open eye and closed eye. So I'm just going to borrow the both of them. So I'm going to borrow this and this. Duplicate, drag. You don't want to come out. So I need my search. I need my search. So I need my search icon. Okay, let's just do for these two. So I'm going to hold these two together. So let me just make this spacing between them 20, and then make it a component. So I'm going to make it component. I'm going to create components here, or you come to this place to create components. So I'm going to create components here. Yeah. So once I create component, this is how it should be. Okay, let me arrange it very well. Hold and create components. So I'm going to create a component set for both of them. Component set for both of them. So I'll create a component set for both of them. So I have the close and open eye. So I can come here and call it eye. Then I'll hold this one and call it. So it's just picking the name for me. So this is going to be closed, and this is going to be open. So this is going to be open. So I've created, remember I created as a component set. Remember it's a component set. So this is going to be I. So I'm just going to rename them here. So I've created as a component set. So I think I'm going to get search bar. So I think I'm going to add search bar, but I'm just going to show you how to do it. So I already have this as a component set I, which is the close and open. So I'm going to create a new input field this time around. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an imp. Now let's create a new imp just like what we did yesterday. So I'm going to say call this label. Call this label. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make it 18 medium, and I'm going to duplicate this, and then this is going to be hello world. So this is going to be 14. I'm going to add auto layout. So once I add auto layout, I'm using 50, and this is going to be 200, or let's say 300. Let's use 350 to make it wide. So I'm going to place here. I'm going to add a stroke. So I'm going to add stroke gray, and corner radius is going to be 5. And I'm going to make this 0. So I'm just going to make this 0.8. I think 1 is okay. Let's say 1. 1 is okay. So I don't want it to get to this point, so I'm just going to keep it this way. So I'll use 25. Yeah, so I'll use 25 for it. So once I use 25, so I'm going to take one of my eye, not my actually eye, my icon eye. So I'm going to take the icon eye. So I just want to repeat the same pattern of something I did yesterday. So this is going to be together. So this is going to be in auto layout, and I'm going to make it alt. So I'm going to put it in alt here. So this here I'm going to say between the space of both of them is going to be 25. What's going on? So I'm going to make this 25, 25. I want the space between both of them. Okay, let's say 2020. Let's say 2020. And I'm going to move it in alt like this here. So I could just take each hand and then get to the point. But I don't know why it's not responding. So I'm just going to do it manually when you get to this point. Then I'm going to so I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'll keep it here first. So I'm going to, I used 14 yesterday. No, sorry, I used 12 yesterday. I used 12 yesterday, and I used my asset color sources. So I'm going to call this sources. So I'm going to duplicate again and call this one error. So I'm going to make it asset color of red, error red. So I'm going to hold the both of them and then make it a component set. Where is it again? So I'm going to make it a component set. So once I make it component set, I'm going to call it, instead of component 3, so I'm going to hold the property here and then give it, let's say, assets. So you can choose to add your information and one in the text if you want, but this is just an empty field I'm creating. So I just need error and sources. So this is going to be assets. So let's just use the word assets, and the other one is error, the other one is sources. So I'm going to bring my sources. So let's call, before we do that, let's use the write-off, the default write-off that it gave to us. But I think I will just have to use, I'll have to use yes or no. So I will say this is going to be success. So I'm going to use yes. Let's use yes for this, and let's use no for this. Let's use no for this. So I'm going to pick my sources. So I'm going to drag duplicate or alt. So once I drag, this is automatically, it's going to give me this toggle kind of stuff here. So if I turn it off, it's giving me error. If I turn it on, it's giving me success. So if you use yes, no, true or false, open and close, it will just give you this automatically toggle something like this. But remember, you have to place that in component set. So that if I want to, let's say an MPP that shows error, I will just have to, do it this way or this way, because I use yes and no. For the I use open and close. So it just gave me this thing, didn't give me the toggle. So if I come back to this my component set, I click on this one. Let's call close false. Let's call it false, and let's call open true. So let's call this true. If I click this one, it's going to give me this toggle sign here. So it's going to give me this toggle sign. So if I turn it on, this is what comes. If I turn it on, this is what comes. So let's continue with we are creating. So we want to create one input feed that will attract the whole input feed that will display we've done. So this is what we have. So we have this. So you're going to repeat the same process we did yesterday. So I'm going to hold this to this point here, and then hold this here. So I'm going to make it auto layout, and I'm going to reduce the spacing. The spacing is 9, so I'm going to use let's use 5. Yeah, let's use 3. Okay, let's use 3. 3 is okay. Or let's even turn it off at all. We don't even need spacing between them. I think this is okay because I don't need spacing between them. So this is what I've done, and I'm going to hold this, and then I'm going to make this auto layout. So remember, if you made everything already, remember we are doing it responsive. In case you need a particular, when you are designing for a pop-up login screen or pop-up sign-up screen, for a larger screen, it's always big. So don't forget to make your design responsive. So I think this 20 is actually too much here. So I'm just going to reduce this to 15. So I'm going to make it 15 now. I'm going to make the spacing pad in between and here 15. This is actually not giving me 15. That's not gotten to this point. So I'm going to hold this and then drag it to get to this point. So it was supposed to act responsive, but this time around I'm going to do it manually. So I'm going to come to this place, and then it's already in feed container, but I need to check. Then I'm going to check this one. So this one is already tiny, so it doesn't matter if it's a feed container or not feed container, but I think it's actually okay, but you can make it feed container. But if you make it feed container, this is how it's going to look like. But I don't want the text to be that way. I want it to be on the left-hand side. So I'm going to check this, and then this is already in feed container. So I'm going to hold this and then be sure that everything is actually in feed container. In case I don't want to use this 350 size and I want to increase it to 500. So I want to increase it to 500. So I just want everything to act responsive. Now you can see that immediately I move this in response. This hello world and this did not work responsive. So I'm going to go back to my settings to check why it did not work. So let's go back to our settings and check if it's actually in a fixed position. So I'm going to go back here. So I'm going to check. Now you can see that it's actually in fixed, it's not in fill. So I'm going to select fill and automatically it's going to fill. So if I click this and then I let's reduce to 300, you can see that it actually works. So let's increase to 900. So you can see that it actually works. So what I'm using is 350. So I'll reduce it back to 350. So this is what I have. And now let's make this a component. So I'm going to make this a component. So once I've made this a component, this is how it's going to look like. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make it in a position where I can just only click, like if I'm designing, I don't want this, I don't want this, or I don't want this. So I'm just going to make it in a way it's going to work like that. So if I just pick like the component, like the variant of it, and I'm working, so instead of coming to this place to turn off the eye, I will just come here and play around with the toggles and then it will go up. So I'm going to click on this label here. I'm going to hold, so I'm going to come to appear, okay, not appearance. I'm looking for those this thing called boolean. So I'm going to I need to be sure where the last time I did that was with the old interface. Let me be sure where it is. So if you want to do, let me do this again. So I want a situation, I want to create this actually in a component, and I will just come to the asset, I will pick. There's no need of me coming here to turn off the eye. What I have to do is just to come to this place, play around with all the toggles, just the same way we play around with this error and sources and this one also. So that is what I'm trying to achieve here. So I'm going to click on only the label. I'm going to click on only the label. So once I click this only label, I'll come to this place that says appearance. After the eye, the next one, this one. So I'm going to click on it. So once I click on it, she's telling me I apply variable or property. So I'm going to click on the plus sign. So once I click on the plus sign, so this is what it's going to show me. It's going to show me the property. Yes, it's actually the property. Show label. Yes, it's going to show label. If I don't want it to show label, I'm going to click the turn it off, like just the same way we did for this one. And then it's going to, so I'm going to create it as a property. So I've created as a property and it's now showing me show label. So now let's come to, so I'm going to rename this to input field so that I won't get confused. So I'm just going to call this, instead of frame 66, I'm going to call this, so I'm going to call this, let's use the word, IC, that is interactive component input field. So I'm going to come to this part. So let's go to where we are playing some interactions. Let's see if what we did actually. So let's come to this place first, because this is actually not an interaction, it's just a display. But instead of going back and forth and doing those other ways, we are just looking for, just like you guys normally call it, shortcut. So I'm going to click on this. So we call it, this is the corner and size. We call it IC. Yeah. So I'm just going to drag it here. I'm going to place it in my design. See here. So I'm going to bring it in my design here. So I'm going to turn off. Now you see, you can see that it's showing me that show level something. So I'm going to click on this, and then let me turn off this layer grid so that we can actually see what we are doing. So I'm going to turn it off. So I'm going to turn this off. Now, if I click on this input field like this, now let's return this back to 5. So if I click on this input field like this now, now I can play around with so many things. Now, let's say in a situation where I said, or you are designing, not where I said, but you are designing and you don't need this label again. You don't need this label. You don't need this. You don't need this. You only just need this text here. What you have to do is now, you just scroll up. You take out this show label. You've taken it out like this. You will come to this place. Now you come to this place now. Now show label doesn't mean that you've deleted it. It's still there. So you come to this place. Now I'm trying to click on this one here. You take this out. Now which is showing you a asset. But if you turn it on the right way, it's going to show you error, But since I've closed the eye, it's just there. And then I'm going to click on this. Now, this is a situation I've done something, and this is how it's going to look like, which is actually going to give you. So what you just have to do is just to come to this place, then return this back to 10. and automatically you have this like this. So instead of one, now it has helped you reduce stress instead of designing multiple input feed. Now let's bring this show level something. So I can just come here and just scroll. Let's say for example now you just want to add the label and then the input feed. So you just come here and then click on this toggle and then it shows and then you are done. So if you want to increase it, you just come to this place. So let's do it. Let's say 13300 input feed. Now you can see that everything you're doing is actually responsive. So I think I use the one that is actually very, very long. So let me just take it out. Let's use 800 and let's take it. Let's position it on the left hand side. Now you can see that input feed. No matter how you stretch it, as long as it is responsive, it will just work for you. Remember, let's say for example, you're designing a pop-up sign-up screen for a web. This is how it's just going to look like. So you don't even need to stress yourself. So you just need to set everything in your input field. Now I can turn off this label here, which is like the title, and I'm going to go. So whatever adjustments you did on this, if you change this hello world to maybe enter your password, enter your full name, enter this, enter that, it's not actually going to reflect for this. It's actually not going to reflect for this. Now, you'll be wondering, okay, where are we going to add the search icon if you want to? Now, let's add the search icon. So what we are going to do now, let's go and get our search icon so we can add it in our component set and then reflect it in here. Let's say, for example, this is not an input field. You just want to use it as a search icon. So this is what we are going to do. So let's get our search icon. Are you guys with me? Or is this is simple, right? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, this is what I'm actually doing.
It's not simple. We try to catch up. Kind of confused at some points, but I'm still following.
Okay, please don't be confused. That is one thing about auto layout. Like I said yesterday, that at a point it's going to be overwhelming, it's going to be confusing, but it's just something that you need to practice practice make perfection. So you just need to practice one, practice two, practice three, practice four, then you will just get used to it. But trust me, once you know how to do an interactive component, or even component itself, your design is going to be very, very easy. Like there's no need of designing something more than once. So it's just something that you just, catch up at once. Okay. It's not confusing, it's not difficult. It's just only, let's just say it's only for today. After today it's going to be very, very easy. Trust me. So let's look for search bar. So I'm going to use search bar. So which icon does not have search? So I'm going to use font awesome. Where is it? Font awesome. So I'm going to use font awesome. Font awesome does not have two. Oh wow. So let's see solid. Okay, let's use Google material. Okay. Let's look for another one. Where's material? No material somewhere. Let's return back to this place. Let's search from the general one. So let me use the one that is closer to which icon. So I'll use this one. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to drag it here. So I'm going to take this out. So I'm going to change the color to my gray. So I think I use gray 2, right? Or gray 1. Okay, I use gray 1. I can't take it inside because I made it in component sets. Where is it now? So I can't accept. So if the only thing I can do here now is I have to create a new one because I've already made them settings. So I have to create a new one and follow the same pattern. So in this aspect now, it's not going to give me true or false. It's not going to give me that toggle off or on. It's going to give me now, since it's now more than two, which is true or false, yes or no. It's going to make me to now give me a drop down where I have to select and I have to create a new icon set, and then I'll pick this icon and then put it here. So once I put it here, I'm going to make this to auto layout. Then I'm going to let me create a new one. Let me create a new one. So if I create a new one, I'll have to change all this. But no problem. Let me create a new one. So I'm going to let's take this and this out. So let me duplicate this and this out here. So I'm going to have this one. So let's align. Let me remove this one from components itself. Let me remove it from components let me take it out. Sorry, I was clicking the wrong thing. So I'm going to hold these two together. I'm going to come here, click on this drop down, and then make it a component set. So I'm going to make it a component set. So once I make it a component set, so it's telling me something same variable because it's showing I. So I'm going to call this like icon. So I'm going to call this icon. So I'm going to call this search. So this is going to be search.
Why are the two eyes closed?
I don't know why it's closed. So this is going to be closed. And the other one is going to be open. So you will have to change it on your own hand. Is it why it's closed, or you just have to point the correction, or you're questioning my error? You guys need to learn how to correct somebody politely, please. Not why. Oh man, you made a mistake. Not why. So this is going to be open. So I think this actually moved in components. So I'm going to repeat this again. I don't want anything to be, I just want it to be like a fresh, so I'm going to duplicate, I won't drag. I want it to be a fresh icon. That's why it should look like an icon that I brought out. So I'm going to duplicate it out and then take it out from components. Like I don't need anything component, or maybe baby to the component, or sister to the component. I just want it to look so fresh. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to scroll down and then detach instant. So once I detach instant, so it's just going to look like a fresh icon. So I'm going to take out this and this one. So it won't give me that it's not going to throw me that error that two icons are bearing the same name. So I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to work with only these three. But now if I take this out, if I click on this icon now, it's going to show me restore component because I have deleted the main component. So if you just click, if I click on this icon here now, if I click on this icon now, it's going to show me restore component. I've deleted the main component. So, but this is not our focus. This is actually our focus. Now, if you look at it, you can see that it's now looking like we just download the icon from the icon pack. So I'm going to hold the three of them. I'm going to highlight the three of them and then make it an icon component set. What is going on with my cursor? Sorry. So if I highlight the three of them, it doesn't matter if the spacing between them, it doesn't matter. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'll scroll up here. So I'll scroll to this place. Now this is it though, don't forget to. So I'm going now it's showing me component 8, component 7, component 6. That is because we remove it from the components. So we're going to click here and then create component set. So once we create component set, then this is what we now have. So this is just, let's call it property icon, anyone. Then we're going to call this search. So I'm going to call this, so component 7 is now search. Okay, let's use search. Now remember it's more than 2, so it's not going to give you that toggle effect. It's just going to give you a form of drop down because it's more than 2. There's no, it's just yes and no, true or false. It's not, there's no anyone, not like none of the above or it's just yes and no that toggle effect is going to work. So this one we're going to call this one close, and then the other one is going to be open. So this is going to be open. So now what we are going to do now, we are going to take this out and then we're going to add the search icon here. So take this here. So I'm going to take it here. So now I need to know the one that is my own. And let me take this out from here first. Let's keep it here. So I'm going to change this one color blue. So I won't delete the one. So I'm going to change this one to color blue. Now you can see that it's telling me restore component because I've deleted the main component. So it's going to show me restore component. So once I click on this restore component, or those things I deleted will just come back. Now you can see that it's going to show me restore component because I've deleted the main component. You can see that it is back. You can see that the main component is there. But I don't need it because I'm taking it off. So I'm just going to undo that. And then I'm going to hold the eye icon. So I'm going to change it color blue so that I won't delete the, you know what I'm trying to achieve here, so that I won't delete the one that I'm just putting in. So I'll just bring this one in here. So I'm going to bring it inside here. So once I bring it inside here, because of it is actually in automatic settings. So I'm going to just delete this one that I turned blue, which is the old one that is telling me to restore the component, but I don't need it, so I'm just going to take it out. So once I take it out, automatically this my original icon from this will just respond. So now I need this search icon here. So this search icon, so I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring this inside here. Same inside that auto layout container between this one and this one. Now, we have so many ways you can design this, but if you don't want to follow this pattern, you can follow another pattern, not to just, confuse you or maybe get things overwhelmed or stuff like that. If you don't want to go this, so now this is another way. So we can just take this from Alt and then make it 100. So once you make it, we can just say, okay, 10. We have something like this. We have something like this. Get. So this is what we have. So we have this. So if I go back to, we've already duplicated it. So if I come back to this part, so we've already duplicated it. So we're just going to reflect because what we did was the component to play around. But now you cannot. Do you notice that when we actually increase this did not actually reflect? So I'm going to go back to the comp and I'm going to look at it. So if let's play around with the component, because the variance, when the variance is actually in a longer number, and I notice that the I icon did not move. So let's turn this to 800 and see. So it actually respond here. Zoom out now. It actually responded here. And I noticed that it didn't respond. So but everything I did here is perfect, but that side is not perfect. So I'm going to return this back to 350. So I'm going to take out this. So I'm going to delete this and bring new one, and then let's see, because I know let's bring the new one. This is actually in fee, so why did it respond? So let's bring the new one. Let's go to assets. So I'm going to click out. I don't want to. So let's go to assets. Yeah, this is it. So I'm going to turn off my level. I'm going to come back to file. So I'm going to turn off the sources. So let's turn these components off. So if you want to do error, you know how it's going to give you that trouble. But let's turn it off. So let's hold this together. Let me increase it and see what will happen. So I'm going to hold all of them together. So this is the first one. So I'm going to hold the second one. Move. So this is it here. So I'm going to hold the second one here. So hold the second one. Let's make it 800 and see. Well, let's make it 600. Yeah. So this is it. So all you just have to do is just to come to this place. Then you hold this one like this. I'm not clicking on the right thing. So I'm going to remove from Alt and then place it. So I'm going to hold it here. Something is wrong. Something is not wrong. Something is not right somewhere. So something is not right somewhere. So let's see. Sorry, this is not supposed to be there. So something is not right somewhere. Something is not. It's supposed to be at the center, but it's showing. Okay, I think I'm holding the wrong thing. This is what I'm supposed to hold. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to do. So something is not right somewhere. So I have to go back to the component. So I have to go back to the component to adjust, because I want my search bar to be at this part. So I'm going to come back to my setting here. Then I'm going to take this out from Alt and then make it 10 here. Now this is it. Also learn to test your patience and your ability, but you don't need to panic. Okay, so this is what we've achieved. So you can see that we've done for the search bar. But if you think this is actually difficult for you, keep trying. You will get it. Just like what I encounter now. You can see that I actually encountered error. So I had to check and go back to all. But another thing is, if you don't want to encounter error or something that is going to actually confuse you or stress you, the best advice I will give you is change the name. Always rename it. If you don't rename it, you're going to get confused. Trust me. Just like what happened to me a few seconds ago. So this is actually the bad one. So I'm going to delete this one. So I already have this as a search bar, I can convert it to input field instead of creating new one. So I have a search bar inside an input field. Okay. So do you guys have questions to ask? So do you guys have any question to ask before we move to the next phase?
Yes.
Okay, let me be number 2. And she's done.
Okay. My question is like, when working with auto layouts, there are sometimes that I will add something to auto layout and to scatter the position of the things.
It will scatter, yes. That is because the first thing you've done, you've already placed them in a position that they all know their position, all know their padding, they all know everything. Then if you're trying to bring something to bring, it's like if you're adding, not just like when you've arranged, you have a matches pack. You know how matches are, or cigarettes, you know how everything is being aligned, and you're trying to bring everything is like, is number one is just all number 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, all of them are just threads. And now you're trying to put something in between number 1 and number 2. It will just scatter or it will just freeze. That is how auto layout is. But now Figma has made it simple for us that you can actually add something inside the container, inside an auto layout container or inside auto layout box. But if you're trying to make that box responsive, that thing that you add is just going to stand the attention for you. It's not going to move. So the Figma, actually, let me show you something. Now, this is what I meant. Now, I already have this card. I already know that this one is already standing here. This is standing here, and this is standing here. You already know that, okay, the space between this and this is this. The space between this and this is this. And now I want to add, okay, let me use a text. Now I want to add another text on that here. Maybe like heading number 2 or heading number 4 or something. Let me just type my name. Let me type my name. Now I want to type my full name, so it will be long. So this is my full name, and let's make it we use 18 and 16. Let's use 16 million. Let's use 16 million, which is actually big. So this is actually in component. So I'm going to take it out in component and experiment what Kemi just asked. So I'm going to duplicate this here. I'm going to take it out from components. So let's just be like a card standing on its own. So I'm going to detach instant. So now if I detach instant, I should show that the padding between each of them is 50-50. The space between this and this is 40, and the space between this other one is 10, 20. I can't remember what I did. So let's say is what's the space between them again? It should be like 10. Now between there and then. So now I want to carry this now, and then you want to add it here. Now you want to add it here, and you don't want, now let's say you want to add it here. Let's say you just want to place it here now. You don't want it to be at the center, but you want it to be at the left hand side. Now you can see that if you check this box, you'll see that it did not move, but you don't want this text now to be at the center. You get my setting now is already in straight line here. It's already in straight line here. That's why I just pick it to be in that straight line format. But now in your own aspect, you don't want it to be at the center. You want it to be at the top left. Now, because you've set this particular card to be in auto layout but in straight format, but now you want to add this name. You want this name to be at the top right hand side. Now Figma has made it in a way that you can actually add it, but when you're doing your responsiveness, your card responsiveness, it will not move. It will just stand there like an evoke, you're just going to be pinned to that point. Now, what you're going to use now, if you're trying to bring it out, you're going to see like a suggestion that will tell you use control. There's this Figma something here now. You can see that it's showing you to hold your control to ignore auto layout. Now you want to place it at the top right, and if you put it inside now, it's just going to stay at the center, but you don't want it. You want it to be at the top right. So you're going to hold your control key. So once you hold your control key, you can see that there's something that came out under my cursor, and the write-up has changed to blue. So you're just going to place it there now. So I've placed it there, and I'll remove all my fingers, and everything is just there. Now it's going to be in that position now. You can see that it's going to be that position. When you come to my layer, you're going to see that the T is actually in brackets like this, showing that it's just standing on its own. Oh, it's not inside the auto layout settings. So if you try to play around with it, it's just going to be there. So it's just going to be there. But sometimes there are sometimes some card it will work. There are sometimes in some card it will not work. It will just stand there. You can see that it did not work in this aspect. It did not work in this aspect. You can see that even as okay now you want if you're increasing the card, it should just be in that place. So sometimes in some card it will work. Sometimes in some card it will not work. So you can see that this is the only way that Figma just help us to add. But if you're trying to make a card responsive, it's not going to work. So auto layout, when you're trying to place something inside auto layout, so it's because you set the positioning, the settings for those particular elements inside the auto layout card. So but you have the ability to add something inside. But if you're adding when you've already done the settings, it's going to scatter. Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
What can I say? Is giving me probably testing your patience indeed. That is the truth. Also there to test your patience. Yeah, somebody said she's going to go number 2. I don't know if it's Rukayat or Salome.
It is me, ma'am.
Salome?
No, it's still Rukayat. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, my question is, when you were creating the components, there was a time you create component sets, and there was a time you picked only create components alone. What's the difference between the component set and the ordinary component?
Oh, how do I explain this in a layman's language? Now, component set is something that is more than one, but you want to put them in a pack. Just like the search bar, the open eye, and the close eye icons. It's actually in a net set. But for components, I want to just create this card now that, let me delete this out. Now this card now, like I said, when we are designing our landing page, we are going to have like 6 cards. In fact, it's going to be more than one. We're going to have easy way to withdraw money, lock your money to avoid temptation, and 22% interest rate annually. The other one is easy way, blah 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 blah. So you can see that this card is more than one. It's 4. It's 4. It's 5. It's 6. So I'm creating this one in a component because I'm going to use it more than once. Why a component set? You are putting something together inside a component set, like in a pack. I don't know if I explain it in a layman's language in the way you understand. So if you check the way when I created a component set, you can see that I placed those icons in a set. I'm going to use it inside one component. Did I understand? Did I explain it in a way you understand it?
Yes, I understand now.
So I want to design that FAQ, but I don't want to get you guys overwhelmed with too much component interactive. So I think I will have to leave the FAQ. I will have to leave the FAQ, not to confuse you guys with so many things. So I'll have to leave the FAQ in our next class when we are designing, because we are done with any interactive components we are doing now. So in our next class when we are designing the full landing page, we'll now use the opportunity and then design the FAQ. So it is only one interaction that we are doing, and we will not do component set. We're not doing this, we're not doing that. So to not confuse you guys. So I'm talking based on people. We have different set of people that already know their way around Figma and people that don't know their way around Figma. So I don't want to confuse you guys with so many new things today. So pardon me, let's leave the FAQ interaction for next week, and for next week while we are designing our full landing page. So from next week, we are designing our full landing page from the hero section down to the footer. And remember, we are designing everything in auto layout. We are designing everything in auto layout. So it will be very easy for us to make it responsive when we are doing the mobile view. Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
All right.
If our assignment results will not pursue us away.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Trust me, the assignment this week is going to be very, very sweet. Very, very sweet.